Hi everyone, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. Today I'm going to be giving you my tips for creating a scene. And there are a few different things that I tend to do. One thing I would say is I very much like to mix and match when creating scenes.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions, we'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche, we're on the run, this is what we waited for.
I'm using dies today all by Fawn, and then my stamps are from Pink and Main. I absolutely love this set. Let me just grab it over here. So this is Pink Avenue, so it's all about moving house, something that I did really have to, I struggled to find some sets about moving house. I think it's one of the occasions that we don't maybe have lots of stamps and things available for. But I love this one from Pink and Main. There's a couple of different sets in this series. And Michelle sent me this a while ago, so I have to apologise to her how long it's taken me to make a video with it. But I hope you're all going to enjoy what we've been making. So you saw there how I stamped out my houses. I also stamped out my trees and some lanterns. I cut them all out using the Scan and Cut, which was really, really quick and easy. And then I've just coloured them using Copics, and I will pop on the blog, which is always linked in the description below, the colours I use. I stuck to a limited palette, so they're all coloured roughly with the same colours, just in different orders or in different places. So this one has pink curtains and a blue door, this has pink door and blue curtains, and we have green in this one. And then I've done some greys and things. I also use the W00 in the windows, just so it isn't stark white. It just takes a little bit of that harshness away and just gives it a little bit more realism, but I don't have to draw or do anything like that. On this one here, it just had a plain roof, so all I did was some upside down tees. I just draw a line and draw in little bits and pieces on the roof. I didn't do it all over, but you'll notice your eye kind of fills in the gaps, and so it actually looks like it is a little tiled roof. So a few different techniques and things I used on there, but now I'm going to show you how I create the scene, and then we'll add our houses on after. So I'm going to be using this Fawn Road, which comes from Simple Road Border. You get 2 dies in here. I'm just going to be using this one today. I think, again, it's just perfect for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly work out where this is going to go. And with a pencil, I'm just going to draw in, because I want to leave the areas underneath. Oops. I want to leave the areas underneath white so that you have those white lines in the road. So everything above here is going to be sky, everything below is going to be grass, just a really, really light pencil line on there. I've also pre-cut all my layers down. So I'm going to be using a standard A2 card size. So my Blue Jay, which is a Fawn cardstock, I've already cut down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then this one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, just a paste of Neenah Solar White. If you wonder about the state of my hands, we've been creating paper mache with Maddie for her science project, which of course has been left to the last minute. So hence I'm covered in glue and PVA and Mod Podge and all those fun things we do as parents. So I took one piece of Neenah Solar White And you can see here how it pieces back together again. And here I have cut out the grass here. This is the the shaped grass. And I've also cut out the clouds. So that what that does, it gives me 3 stencils to work with, and I can work with either sides of any one of these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on here. And for my skies, I like to work with Salty Ocean. I'm going to be using some of the Nuvo double-ended brushes. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of colour, and I'm going very lightly. This, and then of course when I move it away you've got that sky edge. Then I'm going to just mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to add some colour in here, and then sometimes I like to just move it a little bit so that it doesn't all look so organised. And then I'm just going to touch in the top there, and I'm going to go back in one more time in the middle here. And every time you add a new layer, it's never going to blend completely into the last layer. You can add some water and completely blend it out if you make a mistake. But you can see there I've got some different layers to my clouds, and it all just adds a little bit more interest and things to it. So that's how easy it is to create a sky background. And these you can use over and over. So what I tend to do is when I finish with these, I'll just slip them in the back of my dies. I keep them in the Avery L pockets, and I'll just slip them in the back for another time. So again, I'm going to do the same sort of thing with the grass, and the grass happens to layer perfectly with the road because it all comes in sets that are interchangeable. So I'm going to start off with Mowed Lawn. Okay, I'm just going to use the other end. I often mix these up, or you can just give them a wash and go again. So we're going to start there, and then I'm going to move this down. And I'm going to go down once more. So each time all you're doing is adding more and more ink layers. If you had a larger space, I would leave some gaps in between them. But for this one, this works perfectly. And we'll make sure we get some macro shots, but you've got different layers. So you've got one layer here, one layer here, one layer here. If you wanted to add even more kind of interest and things to it, you could take a different colour. I've got my bundled sage here, and I'm just going to use the same end again. So I can add a little bit darker. I can even go darker still with some forest moss. And for this one, I'm going to go right on this bottom layer. And I'm just going to pop that over like this. So I'm just loading up. And I'm just going over it. And so when I lift that up, I've got a little bit different at the bottom. So it just adds nice and lots of layers on there. You can mix and match Oxides with Distress inks or any ink that you like blending with. So the next thing we're going to do to build up our scene, as I said, these are really, really easy scenes to build. And lots of you have asked me questions on how I build mine. So that's why I've done this video. You're going to get some liquid adhesive for this part, and I'm going to use the Nuvo Deluxe. So these are all supplies, including the double-ended brushes and this adhesive, that we put in your tools hampers if you ordered one of those. I think we've still got 5 left if you didn't get one. So we have $100 worth of tonic supplies, all the basics, your scissors, your blending brushes, all those sorts of things in there, and it's under $50. And by working on this glass mat, all of this will just wipe straight off afterwards, really easy. And then I'm just going to turn this over, and with my scissors I'm going to cut. And I'm going to cut like so. And so there we have our road. So you can see how quickly this is coming together. Now before I add too much detail, I'm going to stick this down, and for that I'm going to again use my Nuvo adhesive because it is going to be a little bit heavier. So again, go round and pick this up like so. I'm going to press that down. And then let's grab our card front as well. It's got a little bit of ink on it. So we have a card front, and I like to use the Score Pal. I even keep it in its little dust bag. Not sure how long that will last. But I like this because if I have card fronts that go the other way on my 8.5 by 11, the 4 1/4 already has a star in it. For this one, I want to score at 5.5, and I score on both sides. Like so, and then I'm going to fold this in half, and I like to fold it both ways, and by scoring it you can see how I prevented the cracking. So the cracking you get when you score is minimal compared to if you don't. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to apply some Nuvo Deluxe. And you can see how nice and finely it comes out of that tube as well. Again, when I mat, always mat with my card open, or my little tips. You'll find that you get far less bouncing, you get much more even mat if you mat it with your card open. If your card is closed, it naturally, even if you've scored it, it has a little bit of bounce to it, and you'll just find it a little bit harder to get that perfect mat. Whereas if you have it open, it's perfectly flat and you'll get a nice even matting. So as I said, I pre-coloured my little houses in, and another little top tip is, so I like to, when I scan and cut, I like to die cut them out or scan and cut them out before I colour them. I find I get a much better cut, and sometimes the colours in there can confuse the machine. It's all personal preference how you like to do things. So when I'm then colouring, and because I was alcohol colouring, I've got a piece of porous paper underneath. I use a little bit of temporary adhesive, and I just stick them down enough that I can colour, and when I'm ready to go I can just pick it back up again. If I want to get rid of that, you can use an adhesive rubber or your sand eraser. Even your finger is just enough. So if I just do that, it's all gone. And now we're going to work out where our house is. We're going to go along our little road. So I'm going to have them going onto the road just a little bit. Sometimes I don't even use all the different images that I've cut out. I think I'm going to go with those two on here. And what I've also got, all these little trees and things that I cut out as well. And I coloured them with just 3 different colours of Copic marker randomly. And so you can see along here like this. You could also maybe arrange some in the front here, like this. I like to arrange things before I stick them down as well. And you can see how they're just little finishing touches on there. Cute they look after that. I also coloured in some lampposts. I did them black, little pink hearts on top, and then just put a little bit of an orange in there as well, so we can stick some little street signs down. And you can hear probably that they're discussing the school project as well. But you can see how we've taken something that was quite a plain little scene, and by just adding some of these little details in, it turns it into something really realistic. Cute little one you have going there. I think I might even put a little street light on this side of the road too. So I'm going to now glue all of these things down. to finish our card up, I've used the Congrats on Your New Home sentiment from the stamp set. It's a really nice mix and match one. So you've got things like welcome to the neighborhood, congrats on your new home, we've moved if you need to make moving cards for changes of address. There's some really lovely sentiments in it. And I did also pull out the other stamp set that comes in the similar series about let's hug some puppies, meet for coffee, treat yourself. So all different things, but of course you could build up this. Maybe if someone's opening their own business, it would be a really fun thing to put in their card. Or of course you could build up other scenes and do yourself sort of like a little mini main street as well. So I am just trimming this sentiment down, and I'm using the Tim Holtz trimmer here from Tonic. And so I've just kind of started with a shape, and I'm going to now refine it down. And you can cut smaller shapes on this, you just kind of poke it through. So I need to go a little bit tighter, like this, and like this. And then I can work out exactly where I want to put it. Sorry, that's a bit off camera there. I'm going to just trim these edges down a little bit more. So this is going to fit really nicely just down here. So I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape for this one. So I popped the houses up on foam tape. Everything else I just glued down. And you can see how easily that scene came together. You can really let dies do all the work. I'm not artistic. I couldn't draw in all these different things. So you can make stencils out of them. You can make really lovely shapes out of them. And of course we cut out our pieces here. The prep work I think is most important. Now you saw that I had lots of little trees and one house left over, and what I always do if I have anything left over, I just pop it in this envelope. So all of these will go in here like this. There are coordinating dies available if you don't have a scan and cut, but I will also up here, I'll link all about the scan and cut if you're interested in that too. And then I'll just slide my little stamp set in, and then next time I put out the stamp set, if I wanted any trees or anything, all those items are already there, ready to go. So really handy, and it didn't take me long to do them at all. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you're not already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that bell for notifications when we have a new video coming out. Also, do give us a thumbs up. We'd love to have you back if you've enjoyed today's video. Maybe you've learned a new tip or technique as well. And we'll see you again very soon for some more inspiration. Happy stamping. Bye!